Go. Go, Timmy, go. We are live on the tubers, and I'm going to go ahead and tweet it out. Sherwin, keep Brandon company for about 15 seconds.
15 seconds? You realize how long that is?
That's a long time with dead air. Like, there are times, like, I'll play back something on the show, and I'm like, oh, there's 2 seconds. And 2 seconds is a long time when you're just listening to empty space. Like, it is crazy how long that feels.
Yeah.
It is when you hear it, for sure, because you're used to hearing constant talking, and then all of a sudden it just stops.
You know, I've listened to other podcasters, and when they pause at a point where, I mean, these are professional guys, Bill Burr and you know, the Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan, I guess comedians and stuff, but even the non-comedians, they kind of say something and then they gather their thoughts, and there is something to be said about that 2-second pause versus the I have no idea what I'm doing 2-second pause, which we had.
Absolutely.
We had plenty of the I have no idea what I'm doing 2-second pause in our first like 6 or 8 episodes before we got, you know, into more of a rhythm, like eye contact and hey, it's my turn, it's your turn, and we started doing this, you know, in the same place and all that. So yeah. I like the selfie.
Yeah.
Digging it. What's up, Roger and Brandon? Yeah, Brandon on the new job. Congrats on the new job, Brandon Carl, that is.
I was just like, what? What I missed?
What I missed? I got a new job.
Yeah, congrats.
Did I get hired?
Did I get a raise at least? Like a big?
Right? Yeah, no shit.
Love it. What you been up to,
fantastic.
Man? You been rocking and rolling?
It's been a very busy few weeks. I mean, going back to November, I went to Minneapolis the first weekend in November, and then in October found out work was sending me to their work conference, which was a lot of fun. It was in Marco Island, Florida. It was like a 3-day, go socialize with all the sales staff. So that was fun. And then it seemed like Thanksgiving was right around the corner, and I mean, hell, it's Christmas next week, basically, So it's been very busy, but and plus with the show and the last couple of weeks were pretty busy in terms of the doing some extra prepping for the awards show and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but now it's good, ready to enjoy the holidays.
Right on, dude.
How about you guys?
I mean, same stuff.
Right.
We're trying to figure out what to do. Because this is the first time I actually took the week of Christmas off. Because usually at my work, it's like it's so low stress, nothing going on during that week that it's like I don't need to take vacation during that. I need to take vacation when things are like boiling over and I need a break. So
you don't want to burn it when you don't need to burn it.
Yeah, and like I could sit there and stare at my family, or I can do something. But I took it off this time. Okay. So we'll I don't know. We still got. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go watch that new Clint Eastwood movie, The Mule.
Nice.
Where he's like an old man that is running drugs. Runner. Yeah, that looks awesome. And then I looked earlier today. I didn't even look. I just saw a headline on my newsfeed that said, this could be his greatest movie ever. And I went, whoa, I'm definitely seeing it now.
When you think about Unforgiven and the outlaw Josie Wales. You know what's really funny is I can't remember who it was that I heard. I'm sure it was somebody on a podcast. It was probably somebody like Joe Rogan that asked Clint, how do you stay young, essentially? And he goes, I wake up every morning and I tell myself I'm not old.
Nice.
I like that.
As Rusty and I were just talking about 2 seconds ago about like, oh, man, we're freaking 36.
Yeah, right. What happened?
Well, y'all can both kiss my ass because I'll be 38 come Groundhog's Day.
Love it. Should we do a podcast? What do you think?
Why don't we do a podcast?
Yeah. This is,
I'm all
is that
about
what
it.
we're here to do?
Let's just go into this same ditch. Just keep this thing rolling right after I'm doing intros. Brandon, we'll probably cut out on you for, I don't know, a minute or minute and a half, but you know the drill.
No problem.
All right. You ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Here goes nothing. I'm getting a thumbs up from the Brando. I got to remember how to start podcast. Ready, set, recording now? lot of stuff. Welcome, y'all! Good one. That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 174. It's Thursday, December 13th, 2018. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm in a PTM podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
I've been trying to figure out all day how to make 174 be some kind of significant number beyond just being excited that that's a big number. And we've been doing this for a minute or two, and it's been awesome.
You know what? If I have something that I like, I want 174 of those things.
Yeah.
And if I have something I don't like, I really don't want 174 of that.
No, you want
that
like
probably
one.
Yeah, half of one, whatever. Well, we got a great show for you. We got a great guest. And before we get to him, y'all know what the deal is. This podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM. Join the What You Drink Club for as little as $1 a month. Get that free koozie. Best part is every cent in 2018. Just a little bit left in 2018. We're donating to sponsoring drivers. So join the PTM Posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show, it's brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That is Laura Henshaw, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keplinger, Colby McClam, Eric Keplinger. Well, okay, I've done mess this up. I've done mess this up. All right, let's do this again. Laura Henshaw, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keplinger, Colby McClam, Eric Keepner, Ryan. I've done it again. Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brendan Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Billy Workman, Rika Porter, Jumpy Bob, Les Miller, Tommy Witt, Mark Wiley, Julie Bosley, John Pearson, Eddie Greer III, Yunker Motorsports, Jason Rudd, David Mullins, Joe Noth, and Patrick Johnson. And big shout out to a new follower, a new member of the PTM Posse, Mr. Michael Massey. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Michael.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the PTM Posse. Well, dude, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and sometimes it's a total miss. That was a absolute zero in terms of me reading that, and it looks like our esteemed guest has hung up on us. So we're gonna have to get him back.
I don't think he listened to us when we said we were going to disappear for a while. Right. I think we're going to have to put a timer on that and make sure he knows that it's probably more like 90 seconds.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Well, I could hear you doing the read there, but then it was really choppy. Like I could hear you barely saying any names, and then I'm like, wait, I think I should be able to hear him now.
No, it goes in and out. But you know what? That was the lamest intro yet. Let's give him the intro he deserves. We're going to welcome him to the show. You know him as a professor from Lab Traffic Podcast. This is, I believe, the professor earning his tenure. I don't know how you give a professor a PhD or something, but he's
no, tenure means like you have a 10-year contract now.
Oh yeah,
you have to live up to that.
You're all good. He knows what it's all about. Follow him on Twitter.
That means I don't have to publish anymore, and you still have to pay me. That's what that
That's exactly right.
There it is.
Exactly right.
There it is. On Twitter at LabTrafficPC, Brandon Crowd. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me back. I love it. I've been looking forward to this all week.
You know we're ready for it. I've been looking forward to it. You know, we have, Sherwin, we have guests that come on, and I don't want this to sound negative, but there's a level of stress that's good stress when we have guests that come on, and I'm like, ooh, I got to think about this thing, I got to think about that, I got to do it, write up this stuff, and there's a lot of like overhead sort of stuff that, but it's good. I want to emphasize that it's always good. But Brandon, you were like, Brandon's going to be on. I'm like, hell yeah, we're just going to sit there and chit chat and BS and have a good old time. And all day today, I've just been looking forward to the show. So
I've been watching the clock since 8 o'clock this morning after my first meeting. So
right. So, Brandon, you know how we start this thing, and we know your answer, but we have to do it anyway. So, what you drinking?
Well, I am sipping on a vodka Red Bull, as everyone knows, in my new Christmas glass, fresh with lights, and inspired by Chloe Yunker that says, "Let's get lit."
Let's get lit, boys. And it's got the...
Oh, she loves that phrase.
Yeah, that is an awesome glass.
Thank you.
So we'll get into, you know what? We'll get into Christmas movies in a bit, and I'm gonna write down something right now.
All right. So what I'm going to talk about before we mention what we're drinking,
okay,
just so everybody knows how supportive we are of the beer network of the country in the U.S. now. Rusty's from his visit to Southern California is wearing a Ballast Point hat which is a fantastic brewery. They produce a lot of great beers. And I'm wearing a Christmas present from my sister and her husband from last year called the Branded Oak Brewing Company, which is in Colorado.
So we got the West Coast.
We are supporting everybody. And
by everybody, hey, our esteemed guests might recognize this little deal. Sherwin?
Yeah, well, this is Founders Brewing Breakfast Stout. Mine happens to be in a lap traffic koozie for the Fourth Wall folks. It is delicious. It's mixed with coffee and waffles, and it's
and all the
fantastic.
Good stuff. I got yours here. It just won't fit on the mug, so
it's all good. All good. We appreciate the display, though.
I'm digging it. So
Posse will be very excited about that.
So Sherwin, we have to talk a little bit. I mean, y'all can fast forward through this part, but holy crap, y'all! Atlanta has a championship, and boy howdy, did we tear it down and have some fun at a soccer hooligan bar watching Atlanta United play Portland Timbers, and absolutely
you whooped up on Jeff Gluck.
You know what? That was a beatdown.
Well, but you know what? Jeff was really, he was a really good sport about that. He just wanted to enjoy the fun, and we didn't talk any trash to him. We sent him the video just to be like, hey, man, this is as cool as it could get. He was probably changing diapers at that time, which is, kudos to him for being a new dad. But yeah, we had the Braves when you were 13, I was 14. It's a whole different game now. We're adults. We have a championship.
Holy mackerel. I lost my freaking mind.
I watched the parade on television.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I've missed out, as a kid, the Tigers, I love baseball. The Tigers haven't won since, 85. Got to celebrate a couple Pistons The Pistons won in 04, which I was 22, 23. So was able to really take that in.
Mm-hmm.
Me and some buddies, we'd go up to Buffalo Wild Wings and, watch the Pistons game. But that's never really big into hockey, especially when the Red Wings went on their thing. So I feel like I'm missing the chance to celebrate a sports championship because the Tigers have blown 2 chances. Well, the Lions, they're sure as hell not doing anything. So,
yeah. Well, Michigan, didn't they tie in 97?
97, yeah. I remember that, but I was still, young. That was grade school. That was freshman high school, maybe there. Freshman.
Yeah. Well, hell, Rusty and I were barely single. We were barely eclipsing double digits when Georgia Tech tied for the championship in 90. So
I knew that I should care, but I didn't. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
That was the thing.
I was right across that. I had just fallen off the cliff of caring a lot.
Right. That's your dad calls you over and he's like, you're going to watch this game, son. And we watched it, and Dad's losing his mind, and everything's cool, and we're having a blast. But I didn't know why I was having so much fun at that point, 8 or 9 years old.
Well, and at that age, the fact that you and I are almost 18 months apart, that 18 months of brain growth matters a lot.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I gave a crap about anything when I was 8.5 or almost 9 or whatever.
Right.
But at 10, I was starting to become aware of things.
Yeah. So, and that's why the Braves championship was so huge.
Right, because we were teenagers. And Chipper Jones is my mother flipping hero.
Yeah.
And he will be forever.
That was that's always going to be my I don't know if always we'll leave some benefit of the doubt, but I was at that game, and I think I've said it before, my dad we didn't deserve to be at that game, and he was offered money that would have got him out of some junk that he was in, and he didn't take it, and we went to that game, and I owe a huge gratitude of debt and probably money debt and everything else for that one.
Well, thank you, Pat Sr., for taking your boy to that game, because that matters.
Yes, sir. That's number one. We should, we should do a top 5 live sports moments that we've witnessed.
Experienced. We've got together. We've got at least 3.
I was going to say, I think there's that one for me, and then all the rest of them are me and you at sports games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brandon, what's your number 1?
Honestly, man, I got to go first Kevin Harvick win, Michigan 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But the non, if we were to go non-NASCAR, it would have to be, it's been my one and only Michigan State football game that I've actually gone to, and it was the triple overtime game back in, what was that, maybe 2002, 3, 4, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Oh, that was incredible. They came from behind. I think they were down 21 points, something like that, in the fourth quarter. Came back. They went to 3 overtimes and ended up bringing home the W there. But that's probably number 2 on the list. Is that one? And I was at a Pistons championship or Eastern Conference championship game. I don't know if that sent them to the finals, but it was one of those, and it was a really good game there. So,
I think, Sherwood.
I think you and I have been together for at least 3. I think of the top 5, you and I would probably mention.
So, one, I would mention the Casey Kane win at Atlanta,
2014,
to make the playoffs
at Atlanta.
I mean, that's still our avatar on iTunes and stuff.
Yes.
Is right after that we took a selfie.
Yeah,
and that was one of the happiest I've been ever.
Yeah, in the picture, I'm showing number 1, but I'm actually giving the rock and roll. But somehow my pinky didn't make it in the picture.
Yeah, I would say the Georgia Tech Florida State game where we blocked the field goal and ran it back for a touchdown to
block
win.
6 that registered
when they were.
As an earthquake.
Yes, we have seismology at Georgia Tech, and it registered as an earthquake, and they were undefeated at the time. Look at these goosebumps I'm getting right now. You see this? I mean, this is alligator skin right here.
We finished 3-9, and one of those wins was against undefeated
Florida State.
11-0 or 10-0 Florida State.
Didn't deserve that one. So I've named. Did I just name 2? Give me a third.
I had one in mind.
I mean, Orange Bowl win was certainly up there.
Well, when the one we went to, we didn't win. I'm thinking maybe the other Casey Kane win that we saw at the night race. Is probably in the top 5 in terms of excitement, because back then, it was already going sour for Gillette Evernham Motorsports or whatever the hell that was.
An ordeal.
But Casey still managed to win at Atlanta. So we saw Casey win 2 of his 3 races at Atlanta. So I would say those 2 and that Florida State win you're talking about.
You remember the only reason we didn't see Casey's 3rd win?
Well, for me, it was I had to work.
Me too.
And it
was a rain out.
Yeah.
It was a rain out on Sunday. They raced on Monday.
That was his first win at Atlanta.
And he dominated, by the way, if you remember. They were.
Oh, it was. I listened on the radio.
They were a quarter of the way, or maybe halfway through the race, whatever it was. And I told my boss, I'm like, can I leave right now and drive to Atlanta Motor Speedway to go try to watch Casey Kane win? And he was like, and I understood why at that point that it was.
Well, it was that classic thing we've talked about, and this is, this happens a lot. Me, I'm overactive on Twitter for sure. But it was a classic thing about tire management and old surfaces that we talk about, why Atlanta is such a beautiful place and why Chicagoland was so cool this year, because it's gotten to that place, is that Casey would take off first after the restart and fall to 10th. And within about 20 laps, he would drive all the way to the front and lead all the laps to the next pit stop.
Yeah.
And that is not something that we are seeing in today's NASCAR.
Yeah. Let's give some shout-outs here. Roger says NASCAR, 1981, Daytona 500, Richard Petty won. Robert Schlomer says saw Dale Jr.'s first and third Talladega wins. That's pretty cool. Roger again with the 1982 MISL All-Star Game. There as a classic journalist, played the day before in the media game. Sarah says, I was watching when Mayfield dumped the 3 at Pocono.
He didn't dump him. He moved him.
Just wanted
it
to
wasn't
rattle
a dump. He took one position. That's not a dump. We got to make sure we use the right language. Mayfield did not dump Earnhardt. He
love it.
moved him.
He moved him. Mick Rose, 2002 Pocono. Bill Elliott won. Dale Jr. and Steve Park crashed on the first lap. Holy crap! I was not. We weren't watching at that point. So dump and run.
Well, so I would
good
say,
stuff.
I know we were talking about being at live events, but I'm going to tell you one of the coolest things I ever experienced was 2 years ago, and we can talk about whatever happened after the fact later. It doesn't matter. But being in Tel Aviv, Israel, at an expat bar, watching the Falcons beat the brakes off of Green Bay to get to the Super Bowl was a very cool experience.
I bet. Well, with that, Sherwin, let's talk some NASCAR. We'll tear down
is this a NASCAR
week.
podcast?
Is it? I don't know. During the off season, it's whatever we want.
It's an
podcast.
off-season podcast.
Right. Silly season is the off season. First period is all about silly season. No announcement yet on Suarez. McMurray running the Daytona 500, then joining Fox as a broadcaster. Brandon, what do you think about McMurray up in the booth?
I think based on what we got with NBC the second half of the year going to Fox, I don't know. I think it'll be a little anticlimactic. I like Jamie McMurray. I think he'll bring a lot of knowledge to it, but I don't think he's going to be bringing Dale Jr. excitement to the Fox broadcast booth.
Boy, that's very fair. And the same thing could be said for when Jeff went to Fox and Junior, the NBC, as you talked about. I don't think Jamie will bring the same fanfare, but based on all the Xfinity races that he's done over the last 2 or 3 years, I think he's going to be really good. What I don't know for sure is he going to be in the booth or is he going to be some sort of other extraneous piece until they're waiting for DW to retire?
Have we seen the level of excitement out of anyone recently or ever that Dale Jr. has? Maybe a little bit out of DW. Love him or hate him. I've always liked him because of his excitement. In the last few years, there's been a little bit of like, what was that, DW? What the hell? But when Junior's just standing up screaming, slide job, like that's cool.
I don't think you can touch that. To your point. Go ahead.
Is
Brandon.
DW becoming like the Dick Vitale of college basketball? Like, he was awesome in his prime, and now it's like, Vitale gets a lot of criticism for the way he calls games nowadays.
I would agree with that because I cannot stand Dick Vitale.
Really? I've always liked him. Maybe just growing up hearing that voice. So when I hear that voice, I'm like, all right, that voice. That's now I'm watching college basketball.
It means
there's no other voice of college basketball to me.
Right?
And so
I would say Clark Kellogg.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily like him either. I just but just to be juxtaposed to you.
Sure. No, screw that guy.
Scream, yell, mean.
Busch Clash eligibility rules change again. Sherwin, you wrote in here that, hey, we've been to that race. I'm pretty sure we qualified to run it now.
Yeah, we're absolutely qualified. As long as we can get a car built, we're going to get to run the Busch Clash, which is awesome. Brandon, if you can get a sponsor together and build a car with us, we'll all three go down there and run this thing.
And you know what? We'll all switch driving at the segment break, because what difference?
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
We switched it out.
We've told the funny ass story about how we went down there and drank all the beer that UPS had. Mm-hmm. All of it. That's been well chronicled on the PETM podcast, but I don't know. It just they just need to come out and say what they're doing. Like, why not just let everybody run? If you want to build a car and come run, let's run.
Yeah, it's all the stick and ball sports have a preseason. Let's call it what it is. It's a preseason race. We have our all-star race, which we basically have 2 all-star formats as far as I'm concerned with the Clash. Why don't they just come out and say, hey, if you've got the sponsorship, if you've got the money, and you've got 2 extra cars, come on down and race.
But I don't
think they want to get that. I don't think they want to get that transparent with it and say, hey, if you got enough money and come race in it. So we're just going to apply all of these restrictions to who can qualify based on these are the people that are going to have the money and going to have the cars to come and do it.
I think they should just completely change. I mean, just change this whole thing at this point. What it feels like, and is obvious that they're doing, is we need 20 cars in this race. Casey Kane can't race it no more. Dale Jr.'s not going to race it. Like all these people who aren't going to race it now, and so we still got to get 20 cars. They don't want 12 cars in a race.
Sure.
So if you need to fill out a 20-car field, shoot, Sherwin, we're just going to beat the dead horse here again with what we talked last week with Jay about. Like, then get some people from other stuff, make it an IROC kind of race, supply the cars yourself, and see who's the best racer again.
Yeah, it's either an exhibition or it's a test session. The way they've set it up, it's a test session because nobody's going to go out there and practice with 20 cars on the track to learn about the aero. If we really want to capitalize on how awesome the Roval was and forget about all this practice for the Bud Shootout or the Busch Clash or whatever the hell we're going to call it 5 years from now, run the racetrack that the 24 Hours of Rolex run.
Yeah.
And really put us on a show.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of the Roval right quick, Brandon Carl, who put together that awesome iRacing PTM car.
Oh, he's put us a couple of awesome paint schemes together.
He sent us a video at the Roval. So it's the PTM. Yes, it's a PTM car. It went through the Roval section. It's coming out of traditionally turn 2, coming into the backstretch chicane, and it's a beautiful car. It looks fantastic. And then he goes through the chicane, but doesn't make it out of the chicane. Carries too much speed and hits the wall, and the car blows up into a million pieces. And I haven't laughed that hard almost in 2018. That was one of the funniest things I've seen, mainly because it's got PTM all over it, and then just boom, yard sale. I mean,
totally lost it. I laughed so hard. I was like, I laughed so hard. What I sent him next was, can you set up a session where y'all that are on iRacing try to figure out who can crash the worst in that section of that racetrack?
I think he did it by accident already.
He already did it. I didn't see it. I asked everybody to send us videos. I didn't see any, but it may be because it was going into the weekend. But I laughed my balls off. That was so funny. He's like, "Oops," and it was like, "Bang, boom," like tumbling over.
I mean, that was like that would have been major injury.
Yeah, it was
serious.
It was hard. It was hardcore. Well, it was funny the way they did the simulation, the way they wrote the thing to where no matter what, whatever you hit, determine in their proximity of the digital world, how hard or weird you wrecked. Because at one point it was just tires, you just kind of crashed and it was no big deal. But he tumbled over, smashed into the wall, the car was destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to second period. Colby McClam at KGEE61. I like this question. Brandon, let's give you the floor. Would divisions work in NASCAR? What do you think?
Wow. So Rolex 24, you got a couple of different classes out there.
I don't know if it's classes or actually, divisions NFC, AFC. Sherwin, you were.
I should have.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, I should have read this.
That's interesting.
Before.
Wow.
What?
Well, I should have read the notes before. I should have stopped you so I could say, because Colby wrote me a dissertation on what he was intending for this.
Okay. Then please rephrase.
Yeah, so just the Cliff Notes is divisions like we have in sports, stick and ball sports, where, basically now in baseball you play everybody. In NFL you play almost everybody.
Yeah. 16 games can do, yeah.
It was kind of a thing where what if not all racers raced every race and then we had a playoff scenario. And my personal thought is, not to lead you, Brandon, or lead you, Rusty, is that the issue is we're not a multi-regional sport. everybody's pretty much in the Southeast, whether they're in Virginia or North Carolina, especially now that Furniture Row is all freshly done with racing.
Mm-hmm.
So from a travel concept or a location proximity concept, having a regional geographical distinction it's not really going to mean a lot.
Yeah, I want to explore the topic in my head, but all the logistics just don't really make a whole lot of sense to me if not all the racers are racing all the races. I said race a lot there. But why am I going to buy a ticket to Atlanta if my guy isn't there? Even though I'm in Atlanta, if my guy's not racing or my two or three guys not racing,
like they're already out to Phoenix. And
I'm not gonna buy.
If Chase is headed
to
Phoenix, and we're going to we're not going to Atlanta.
I'm not even watching on TV.
I mean, you would assume Chase being from Georgia, he's going to race at Atlanta. But if you had this kind of divisional format, you would end up with that situation where you could be in region and not see your guy.
But let's do it this way. Let's change the question because I think we'll all agree on that.
We can adapt it for sure.
We'll all agree on that. So let's change the question up a little bit. And when we used to do fantasy NASCAR, there was like the A, B, and C, and then drivers, right? I don't know if you ever want to be called a C driver or B driver. I think the drivers know, though, where they kind of stand. So the more
burrito knows where he's at.
Yeah. So is there a divisional maybe there, or is there a division, maybe these 5 drivers are in one group, these 5 drivers are in another group, and so whoever finishes highest among those 5 and those 5, whether they be ABC drivers, whether they be just randomly drawn, do you think there's anything there? Brandon, let's give it to you. Do you think there's anywhere that we can make divisions happen?
Well,
is it worth it?
Maybe you could do divisions and still have everyone race. I mean, and I'm looking at the YouTube chat, not liking the idea, complicated idea, and I agree. This definitely is not going to add simplicity to an already complicated.
So what you're saying, Brandon, is that we're definitely going to see this in the 2020 package.
I don't think so, but
if it's complicated, NASCAR will go after it, buddy.
Right, that's true. I remember doing some prop betting and things of that in terms of you've got head-to-heads. So maybe everyone's out on the track and maybe they do something along the lines of breaking it up. You got one guy you spread out Stewart House Racing across all, maybe 4 or 5 divisions because technically, theoretically, they should each have an equal shot of winning. Same thing with HMS and maybe Penske. And you kind of thin it out so you've got maybe an equal division of maybe 5 or 6 drivers, and you pit head-to-head against other ones, and maybe you get like a win-loss kind of record and could add to maybe playoff points, something along those lines to where maybe, Matt DiBenedetto, maybe he goes out and he finishes ahead of the guy he's pit head-to-head in at Bristol or at Talladega, and maybe that gives him a wild card shot or something like that. I don't know. That's just where my head went with.
I can dig it. I like where you're going because
it's creative.
Don't we do this every race in the playoffs where we're determining? Okay, well these 3 guys are racing each other, and if this guy gets higher than that, and that adds to all the drama and all the stuff. And so maybe what we're asking here is, can that be introduced in every race, or should it be? The purist in me says, no, go to hell. The other side of me, the reason I'm even entertaining all this is just to, I don't know, expound a topic and see where we go with it. But I like what you're saying.
Spitballing.
Yeah, spitballing. I like some sort of head-to-head idea. Hey, you got to beat this guy. And if you beat him, if you beat the number 10 driver this week, now next week you're pitted up against number 8 driver. Now what? You know what I mean? I'm okay with that.
I mean, I don't hate the idea of the discussion at all. I think it's interesting.
I hate the idea of the idea, just not of the discussion.
Well, I mean, I'm
with you.
I don't even want to.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I want to entertain the discussion because where we are in the season, and it. I mean, it's a fun conversation. I really appreciate it being presented. Thank you, Colby, for offering it up. I don't think it's a functional deal today.
No, God, no.
It would be something that would have to manifest after NASCAR rebuilds itself to the way it was maybe in 2004 and 2005, when you have way more people that want to be in it and way more people that want to pay attention to it than like can actually do both things. I think right now it's like, well, it's pretty easy to get into NASCAR if your daddy's got money.
You're bringing too much realism into this show.
Yeah,
What we need is Kyle Busch to go up against Joey Logano and them to fist fight. This is what I'm asking for.
An actual
fist fight. Yes. This is what we're looking for here.
Not just one guy walks over and throws a punch and another guy gets his skull bounced off of a fender. Like an actual put the gloves on. Let's have an MMA fight.
This is what we're trying to get to here. Two skinny guys. Who's going to come out on top? I'm in. So
tall skinny guys too. They're tall, like 6'2".
Yeah, like for real.
What was that? What was that MTV cartoon claymation thing they did back in the early 2000s?
Hell yeah! What was it? A Celebrity Deathmatch?
Oh yeah, they used to do the Celebrity Deathmatch stuff. That was awesome. Yeah.
They did it for real for a while when it wasn't claymation because like. Screech from Saved by the Bell was in it.
Oh yeah. Well, they had Manute Bol fight the Refrigerator. Refrigerator Perry. You remember that fight?
Yes.
Like this guy is
Refrigerator had ballooned up to like 450 pounds.
Right, and Manute Bol's like 7'2" and 140.
Yeah, and he still won because Perry like had no cardio.
Oh, this is good stuff. This is the type of stuff we're trying to put together here with this question. Anyway, let's move forward to third period. Mick Rose at GoDucks42_Mick. What's up, Mick? He says, what would make the best driver-sponsor combo? So I really want to answer something fun or funny or off the wall here. I have to think about it. Driver-sponsor combo. Does anything come to mind, Brandon?
Wonder Bread and Joey Logano.
That is fantastic answer.
Bad.
Sliced bread. Yes, I think that would
very good.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe the best we'll ever see in our lifetime is Budweiser and Dale Jr. Because there's nobody that partied harder than Dale Jr. when he was 23, 24 years old.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I mean, Elliott Sadler's told some great stories about how bleeped up they used to
get. I think maybe all of the local track collision shops should sponsor Ricky Stenhouse at every race that he goes to.
Well, that's funny.
Driver sponsor combo still. So let's let's.
I mean, it's got to be the driver's personality has to fit the sponsor, right?
Right.
Yeah. So let's go through some folks and see who we think the best one would be. So like you've already said, Wonder Bread for Joey Logano, sliced bread. I love that. That's perfect. Martin Truex Jr. Who do you think would be the Martin Truex Jr. the best sponsor for him?
Dude, Bass Pro's great.
Bass Pro's actually really good.
I think that's a really good one.
I think that's why they're there.
Yeah.
That's why they're with him, is that he hunts, he fishes. His family comes from deep-sea fishing clams. That's their major business.
Yeah.
He's redneck as hell. You never know he's from Jersey. This is how I teach Jersey people that there's, like, southern rednecks in Jersey. I'm like, y'all know Martin Truex from Mayetta? And they're like, we know where Mayetta's at. And I'm like, yeah, they talk like we do.
Right. Kevin Harvick, who's a good sponsor
He's from
there.
Bakersfield.
Bush is decent. I'm going to say... and I know we've got Brandon. I mean, gas station pizza. Give me a break. That's very funny.
I love making fun of gas stations. Rusty likes making fun of gas station pizza more than me.
Well, because I travel out to the lake in Alabama fairly often, and right there at Store 34, they have a Hunt Brothers Pizza, and like that place, you don't even walk into. Like, it smells like dead rats in there to start with. So it's gas station pizza all the way. They've got there's a liquor store there because they can sell liquor at the gas stations there. And if you want like a fifth of Jim Beam, you're going to pay $40 for it. I'll tell you. Let me tell you how many times I've paid $40 for
all of the times
right
that you needed one.
Right. Kevin Harvick. I'm gonna say the Heimlich Maneuver Society because of the choke, baby.
Yeah, man, the UFC should be like behind Harvick.
Right. The rear naked choke.
He's like the only fighter type. I mean, I know he's really just a wrestler, but he's like the only fighter type. It'd be really cool if the UFC would sponsor a car and be like a primary sponsor on a cup car.
I had to give you some. I had to give you some hell there, Brandon. Sorry.
Ton of crossover between those two crowds too.
Oh man.
Well, it's funny, you would think there would be some type of connection because Harvick and his KHI sponsor Cowboy Cerrone. Jimmy John's sponsors Kevin Harvick. Jimmy John sponsors Brock Lesnar, all tied to you. You would think they could work some type of deal out there.
You know what? Jimmy John's with Jimmy Johnson would be pretty funny. Jimmy Johnson in the Jimmy John's car. Like that would
be pretty
that would
perfect.
trip up some folks.
That would be pretty perfect.
I think actually Chase Elliott with Hooters was and still is a fantastic deal.
Yeah, it's a good.
That's a good
combo.
Danica Patrick with Hooters would be all right. I'm not going to go too deep into that. All right, dropping F-bombs.
That's the first time I've ever done that. Oh my god!
Bull spit.
Apologies, y'all.
Fourth period. Here we go. Hendrick says Jeff Gordon, like not Hendrick the organization, but Hendrick himself. Rick says Jeff Gordon will be taking over HMS when he retires. I'm saying that's not especially surprising, but it kind of puts a lid on the discussion there. What do you think, Brandon?
I think it's like you said, it's no shocker, and I think it's good for HMS as the organization, and I think it's good for NASCAR. NASCAR is built around identifiers. And when you'll have the casual fan that comes to the track because their friend dragged them, and they're like, "Oh, I got to get a shirt. Oh, well, I like this beer. Or I like M&M. So, boom, I'm going to buy this shirt, and now that's my favorite driver." If HMS were to have just announced some random corporate guy as the successor, there's no identifier there. That doesn't help the HMS brand. It doesn't help the HMS drivers. Jeff Gordon is iconic with the sport, so that just keeps HMS in the forefront from a visibility standpoint.
Sherwin.
I can support what you just said 100%. I think
that's drinking words.
Yeah, those are drinking words.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. I think I've been saying, and I'm. This is not a pat on the back or anything like that. Like, I don't. In the grand scheme of things, I don't care. But I thought Jeff was probably going to be the next president of Hendrick Motorsports when Rick is ready to hang it up, and he's in his 70s, so that's going to happen. Jeff has been doing his best effort to learn all the business things. And he's in a more public space than he's ever been. So he's in a position to have more influence than he's ever had. So that's the way I'll cap my discussion about
We talked about this a few months ago. What were we – I don't remember what the context was, but it was about people who are like media in the sport and also invested in the sport. And we just brought up like, hey, Jeff Gordon – This is what I remember the last time we talked about it was, hey, Jeff Gordon pretty much is the owner of HMS. This is before any of this was actually, officially public, but it was like, hey, Jeff Gordon is we'll say an executive in HMS, and he's on the mic every week in the Fox booth.
Like, I think what we talked about was people got all out of shape because Junior owns Junior Motorsports or JR Motorsports. And they're like, how can we have an owner of cars, 4 cars in this respect in the Xfinity Series, talking about the race on television? And it's like, y'all realize that Jeff Gordon has owned the 48 car since its existence.
Inception, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's inception. Way better word. So, I mean, I think Jeff can still... I think Jeff could be the president of Hendrick Motorsports and still be a primary contributor to the Fox broadcast.
That'll be interesting.
I don't necessarily think that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
One thing
No,
I'd like
I
to
don't at all.
touch on that I saw in here from Jason Rudd.
What up, Jason?
Hey, guys. Rudd matters. Jason Rudd. Family name. Talking about Yap Yap Mouth Harvick. I sent him a tweet.
I see that.
I sent him a tweet. There was an incident, I think it was at Richmond. Harvick got super bent out of shape at Ricky, and Ricky didn't want nothing to do with that. Harvick really didn't want nothing to do with that, despite the fact that they were both mad at each other. The Rooster is the Rooster, y'all.
I'll tell you what.
The Rooster's got spurs.
Yeah. Man. So let's go to fifth period. Simon Ogus from Forbes. And so, I didn't used to like give the media credit thing when I like read a headline or something, but having interacted with all these media folks, like they deserve this, man.
Yes, they do.
So even if it's the whatever subset of folks that are listening here, I really like to say who that was. Anyway, Simon Ogus from Forbes reporting that NASCAR is partnering, not parting, the opposite. They're partnering with Sport Radar to monitor gambling activity as it preps for the on-site betting stuff that we've talked about before. That might be coming through here soon, or that is coming through here soon.
Prop bets,
right? So that is the question that I'm bringing up. I don't want to sit here and talk about NASCAR is partnering with Sport. No, I want to talk about what is the best prop bets. And dude, I know I'm talking to a gambler here. Brandon Crowd will put some money down on something happening all day long, twice on Sunday, especially with NASCAR.
Yes.
So,
absolutely,
what are the best prop bets? Y'all send us your favorites too, and send us some fun stuff. But let's start there, Brandon. Best prop bets that they're going to have at the track. I mean, this would be like going to the dog tracks, the horse track, or something. Mm-hmm. Like you can bet every 15
same
minutes.
as going to the dog track.
Yeah. And Brandon, what's your favorite prop bets? What's it going to be?
All right. So, I have to think if we're talking NASCAR prop bets, one of the number one NASCAR prop bets are: will the leader lead the first lap? Yes or no? Minus 110 all day, either way.
Minus 110 all day. I love it.
To be a prop bet guaranteed at every race when this
money
really
line,
gets,
though.
let's
Do
get
you
going.
have an over/under on?
Well, I mean that's. Oh, over under. Sorry,
on
I interrupted.
No, over/under on the pole sitter lap sled. And
I like that one.
Here's the crazy thing about NASCAR is
that's another good one.
Over/under on does the pole sitter lead X amount of laps before the first caution, and what over/under on when the first caution. Like NASCAR is going to freak bettors out on the number of variables that are available. They think the number of variables are available in NFL is crazy. Wait till you get to NASCAR.
Over/under speeding penalties.
Well, Denny Hamlin will be 2.5.
Gosh darn it! I was about to do a GD cuss right there because I was gonna make the joke.
I popped it up there for you guys. I was just waiting.
Is Denny Hamlin in the race? Is the question. That puts like a -2 on the whole deal. Oh man! Leads.
You know our triggers. Unfortunately, we love all of our people that listen. I'm sorry, like the people that listen that are actually Denny Hamlin fans. You are the strongest-minded people ever because you're listening to everything else and laughing. And when we say Denny Hamlin, you just turn it off.
Right. Last week I said Denny Hamlin listens to Nickelback. Like that was that was the joke.
Oh, hold on.
Okay,
hold on. I'm so glad you brought that up. So. God, I'm really going into the ditch with this one. But I was listening last week, and you guys were talking about Nickelback. And Rusty, I remember you saying, like, you don't hate Nickelback, I don't hate Nickelback either. In fact,
thank you, sir.
I actually have 3 CDs of Nickelback. I don't hate them.
You do not.
I do. I know,
That's
but hold
funny.
on, the story gets better. It gets way better.
Oh, it gets better.
So, the Detroit Lions, are synonymous for
Nickelback
hosting Thanksgiving Day, and God, this was I want to say this was maybe 6-7 years ago, and it's always been a big thing on local radio and news when they announce who the halftime show is going to be for the Lions Thanksgiving Day game.
Okay.
And a few years ago, it was Nickelback, and Detroit lost its mind. Like, boycott, like, it was... You would not believe the bleep that went down when Nickelback was announced as the halftime show for the Lions. Like, the stadium, the Lions throw up some really crap plays that I've heard booed. I've never heard a stadium boo so loud. Like, it was nuts, man. Like,
I love it.
Crazy. Oh, that's my circle back to last week's PETM show. We now regain PETM 174.
Thank you, sir. You know what? I'd like some prop bets around, like, let's do some prop bets that you don't see anywhere else, like length of national anthem.
Love
it. Let's do something crazy.
Oh man,
let's do I don't know, just some crazy stuff. Number of times
national anthem is fun.
Number of times DW says XYZ.
Or
slide job. Slide job could be a trigger word or something. Like is that going to happen?
Number of 2-tire stops.
Ooh,
at some places. Could be
I like that a lot.
Play.
Or at least like in the first pit selection. There's a lot, y'all. Y'all tell us what you think your favorite prop bets are going to be. I know because we're doing this on the spot, and I think we actually got
number of big ones next year is going to be
or something like that. When does the
last lap for the caution? I like it. First lap for a caution, last lap for a caution. Number of drivers that are lap traffic at the end of the race.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like number of cars finish on the lead lap.
Yeah.
How many big ones we have now that we have 24 restrictor plate races?
Yes, I love it. So there you go.
I would like to put myself out there on the market to any Las Vegas sports book that would like help in setting odds. I'm available for hire.
There you go. And he's a numbers guy.
The amount, man. I mean, we didn't even touch the surface on the amount of prop bets that could be set for a NASCAR race. Like, it is remarkable.
Yeah.
Oh, because it goes all the way down to, like, how long did it take a driver to put his left glove on? Like, if you look at other sports, like,
and what's funny
gets to that ridiculous layer.
That's the bet that I want. I don't care who wins the race at this point. And maybe that might be a problem, actually, with this whole betting thing, is we don't care who wins anymore. We care who is the first driver whose last name – second letter starts with whatever. Hey, you know what? We have Chaz Crawl calling right now.
Can we bring him in?
We're going to add him to the group call for better or worse. This is happening because we don't care. Add to group call. Make it happen. Is it not going to happen? This is up to Skype to make this happen. Well, you know what? It didn't work. Sorry.
Damn.
Orange Cone. We'll have to do it again next time. This was Skype's problem, not mine. I don't know what the deal was. So
it could get to does an odd or even number car win the race? I mean, that's how
absolutely it could. Yeah, that's how crazy Vegas
is. All right, he's doing it again. Come on, Skype.
Yeah.
Make this happen.
Come on, Skype.
Make this happen.
Skype. Are you here? Trying to get the cone.
Is he here?
No.
Oh my goodness! Come on.
Why don't you guys get it together?
All right. Well, I said the F word, so we've had like the worst.
What?
Potentially the worst
shit together, but I didn't want to get bleeped.
It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Orange Cone has randomly joined us on the PTM podcast.
Well, so I asked Cone to join us last week. He unfortunately was out on the lamb cell phone wise.
I was just ignoring you.
I was going to say that's fine. That was very respectful of Sherwin right there, because he could have said, "Well, Orange Cone just totally ditched my entire."
I did. I was busy. I was trying to impress a girl last week, so
Well,
I understand.
The old divining rod points in a certain direction.
Little did I know that it really impresses her when I'm on racing podcasts. So, hence the reason why I'm calling. And you know what? Plus, Brandon talks too damn much anyhow. So, screw him.
Oh wow!
Oh man!
Give him hell, Brandon.
This coming from the guy who had a 20-minute acceptance speech on my award show.
Hey, I noticed you. I noticed. Listen. I noticed you edited my speech, Brandon.
Dude, I had to.
He got it to 10 because you couldn't shut the bleep
up. You took out the best part.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know what?
He took out the part where I said old Gary, the Airbnb guy, asked his wife on a date on a boat, and Brandon was like, "Sure, take her."
I got to get to the track.
I got to go talk about my podcast. Take my beautiful wife out on your boat for a romantic cruise, Gary.
Whatever, racing's better than that.
Hey, Cone. Since you're calling in, we got to ask you what you're drinking.
I'm drinking a nice ice cold Diet Coke.
Wow, that's highly energetic for
Can
just
you
a Diet Coke.
imagine me if I was drunk?
No.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We don't ever assume that.
Shit.
Well,
that would be.
You joined at the exact right moment because we're about to.
Oh, you guys, were just about to make eye contact?
Yes. The standoff is.
Yeah, no. We were already playing in the Utah standoff.
So the question comes from Andrew.
Was that the moment of 2018, Rusty, when you found out what that was?
That you know what? If I had to put together a top 5, that is in the top 3.
That was hysterical. Hysterical. We about pissed ourselves. It was that.
You know what? I love breaking the fourth wall on here, and when you can get me to like break character or whatever, like I'm trying to run a legitimate podcast here and have esteemed people to talk to and enjoy ourselves, and then I have to learn what that mess is. And
we were telling you not to. We were like, dude, do not go on Urban Dictionary. Don't do it. Don't do it. We watched it happen.
Don't tell me not to do something.
You, type it in.
Yeah.
And the moment you saw what it was.
Hey, Cone.
You took a screenshot.
I need you to explain that shirt you had on today. Were you like? Were you trying to get on a Jay Giles
what the hell's
reprint cover? Or?
Well, what I'm really into, like some. So I went and saw Bohemian Rhapsody, right? And
How was
it? 70s were cool, man. I want to go to truck stops and just meet random people and get invited in the bathroom. So I'm figuring if I could get some flared collar action. No, I just thought it was really. I thought it was pretty unique. It was pretty cool. I've got another one, I've
got a follow-up question. Where does one find said shirt?
Oh, I'm not telling you.
Okay, good.
You know what? I am taking that clip and putting it on repeat. There are several
internet outlets that offer really gaudy, over-decorated, brightly colored, hey, look at me shirts. I thought that was. I just thought it was unique. I've got another one that I'm probably going to wear tomorrow.
Thrift store. I'm digging it. So here we go.
Yeah.
It brings us. Andrew Cancian asked us in our recess question. Perfect timing for Cone to come on. Which NASCAR driver among all series would be the best and worst college roommates? So which one's the best college roommate? Which one's the worst college roommate?
Tony Stewart would be the best.
Tony Stewart would be the best. Okay.
Always have beer.
Because he'd just be bringing beer and chicks with him all the time. And I think he'd probably have enough for two.
Hashtag 100%.
See, I was thinking
100%. He probably would have enough for both. The worst college roommate, it has to be William Byron.
That's a prude if I ever
first of all,
one.
Liberty University, there is no fun. That is the no fun university right there.
I don't think Ryan Newman has any fun either, but
William Byron Like, I love you, William. He's a super polite kid. I don't want to ruin
I was
him,
thinking Trevor Bain for a similar.
Trevor Bain's in there
right.
too.
Hey, watch your language. Watch your language.
Okay,
Well, he doesn't have a ride anymore, so it don't matter.
Didn't he yell at his crew chief? His crew chief was like, "Damn it!" And he was like, "Hey, watch your mouth."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
He said a cable television,
right,
totally proper cuss word.
Like an Ashley.
And Trevor was like, "Hey, you need to watch your language."
Yeah. We say,
like, "Hey, you need to watch how you don't have a ride
"That's
anymore."
yeah, stop wrecking.
Yeah, this is why we're firing you.
I was thinking Clint Boyer for both answers. Like you would be
worst.
constantly drunk. You would be the girls would be there. Everything would be a party. And worst part is you would fail all your classes. You would be a 0.0 donkey balls, as we used to call it.
Donkey balls.
And fail out your first semester. But that would be one hell of a semester.
Sure. Donkey balls.
Clint does not bleep around when it comes to hard.
Right.
Yeah, I think there would be a lot of the old crunchy on the door handle there, I think, with Clint probably.
I'm pretty sure Clint, all he has to do is click number 2 on his phone, and Dale Jr. answers and he goes, "Hey, can we party at the Wild West Town thing?" He's like, "Yeah, let's blow it up."
So who's number one?
I just picture Stewart, college age Tony Stewart. Probably would have just brought enough for everybody.
Or do you think he was a prude back
Dude,
then?
I think 45-year-old Tony is still getting in deep.
That's what I was saying.
Did you not see that fireworks fight they had 2 years ago that went all over Instagram and everywhere else? They set the world on fire. They were hammered.
That's why I'm wondering if college age Tony might have been a nerd or something.
Maybe. He would have been like William Byron is now.
Oh, he said it.
William Byron will never become Tony Stewart.
I'm
in wins
pretty,
or
you
in
are
partying.
pretty safe in that assumption. He will be raptured if that happens.
Sherwin, you have put out some controversial things on the PTM podcast in our tenure. We have learned some things. We've adjusted, but I don't think there's anything as controversial as when you put out the poll for the best Christmas movie.
Oh, man, people got mad at me. Man, they got mad.
Yeah. So I think you put 4 things in there, and even my own favorite Christmas movie, which is most definitely National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
People understood that I was going to do a whole bunch more.
Well, you didn't exactly tell them you were about to do that either.
No, I didn't. So. Why would I? Why not get people excited?
Right.
There's still 2 more polls to be released, but yeah, I'm with you. You're right. I did fire people up.
Yes,
what's your favorite Christmas movie?
And I think Die Hard.
I did the adult, the third, 35, 36, 37-year-old. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. Christmas movies should be shit blowing up.
Right. So
there was a lot of Christmas music in that movie.
It's true.
There was.
The very closing scene of that movie is the weather outside is frightful.
That's right.
Yep.
And listen, how many times have you been at a Christmas party where you've wanted to throw someone out the window?
All of them. As a matter of fact.
Right.
Same
so
thing with
that's
Gremlins.
what he did to Hans Gruber. He's like, you know what? You're an asshole. Get out of here. He kicked him in the face and threw him out a window. There you go.
I'm telling you what. I mean, Gremlins, the same thing. A lot of Christmas music. A lot of people got chopped up.
Let's go round the table. Brandon, favorite Christmas movie?
Sorry. It's Christmas Vacation.
No genre, just favorite Christmas.
You're going to hear some drops from that on the best of next week that I recorded and did before we started tonight.
Well, Juliette Lewis is pretty hot in that one.
Yes.
Now, yeah.
Now. I'm digging.
She's hotter now than she was then.
Brandon, unless you're
Actually, wait. We are all forgetting the hottest chick in that movie. Well, maybe not, but the chick from the lingerie store, that chick was pretty smoking.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the elderly aunt.
No.
Oh, goodness.
Aunt Bethany.
And Bethany.
He wrapped up her damn cat.
Well, Uncle Lewis he was looking pretty good too.
Well, we won't go there.
She did the Pledge of Allegiance for the grace.
The actress that played Aunt Bethany also did the voice of Betty Boop. Did you know that?
Yeah, and I'm just going to say it. Shitter's full. So I actually
Shitter's full. I met. Hey, if you look at Ashley J. DeGilio on Twitter, I met Cousin Eddie at Steak and Shake last week.
Are you serious?
You got a picture.
Why is everything wet, Todd?
Because didn't he go crazy and get wanted by the U.S. government? And he moved to Canada and did some weird stuff with his wife. And
he showed his wiener.
Yeah, there was wiener.
There was wiener stuff that happened.
Oh wow!
Like it got
old Eddie.
Did it happen in Utah?
Lost his mind a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life when Julia Louis-Dreyfus asked why things were wet. That's kind of a turn on.
It's all good.
Well, that's a whole different thing. I agree with you there.
So there's
Seinfeld and
there's T-shirts now, and I'm thinking about buying one for my dad that just say, "You serious, Clark?" And
serious, Clark?
And that was if you remember, they were at the dinner table, and Clark was telling all the kids that he just heard that Santa Claus is going to be coming and doing blah blah blah, and he's over the state next door right now, and it's about to be a thing. And Cousin Eddie stops eating and goes, "You serious, Clark?
You serious?"
He's like, this is for the
Clark?
Adults. It's the process.
Yeah, you serious, Clark?
And the kids to be excited about.
Yes, I guess is the answer to that. So there it is. I'm with you.
You
My
guys
favorite
appreciate
part
this.
of that whole movie is the dog's name.
What was
Snot.
Oh, Snot.
Snot? Yes, Snot.
Snot.
That's all Snot, and they added in just audio, just like.
Snot.
Could you not feed the dog under the table? No, he's probably just nosing through the trash. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Might get a little bit of Mississippi Lake Hound in him, and if he does, it's best to just let him finish.
If he lays into you,
Mississippi Lake Hound in him,
it's best to just let him finish.
Just let him finish.
Gentlemen, so me and Brandon have high-fived here and given that one Cone. Where are you at? Best Christmas movie.
Mississippi Leg Hound.
Okay,
Hey,
he's got it.
I think that's what I told Lindsay that when she was on that cruise.
With old Gary?
If Gary lays into you, old Gary lays into you, Lindsay.
Got some Mississippi Mudhound in him.
Just got to ride it out.
Oh, my goodness. Sherwin.
Mother out.
Best Christmas movie.
In terms of entertainment, it's a real toss-up between Die Hard and Christmas Vacation. I've already watched Christmas Vacation this year, so I'm just going to say Die Hard.
There you go.
It's so much fun.
There you go.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother!
Yeah.
Flipper,
as it turns out. He's got it. Y'all, we're going to give
Hans, Booby.
Hans Booby.
And
Knight.
by the way, rest his soul and cheers to Hans.
Damn, that's right. He died this year.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Rickman, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of Harry Potter people who think that's
watch
his
that
thing,
wine movie,
but
y'all.
no, he's in that one.
If you hadn't seen it, watch that wine movie he was in.
A real bastard in that movie.
Yeah, he was. He was really good.
He was in Dogma. That was fantastic. He played
he
God's
was
voice.
in Dogma, right?
Yeah.
Refried asshole in the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah,
Good call.
right. He
Good
was
call.
he was the lead bad guy in Robin Hood too.
Yeah, he was Sheriff of Nottingham.
Let's do a few things here. Number one, let's do some shout-outs here. Scene Vault podcast with Ricky Rudd recently. Fire, right, Sherwin?
Absolute fire. And I got to agree with Steve Wade and Rick Houston. I know Harvick is tough. We all know Harvick is tough in today's world. He ain't want none of the Rooster. I'm telling you what. Rooster would snatch a knot in his ass and then go pick some corn.
Some new follower shout-outs. Bottled Up on Wiley Radio at Bottled Up Radio. Listen to them on iTunes, tune in, and more to Purdue's official official, mostly racing podcast hosted by NASCAR credentialed journalist Jeff Manconi. Manconi.
Hadn't met Jeff Manconi yet. Can't wait to have him on. I'm sure he'll come on.
Yeah, and Sherwin Berthier Hodge. Are you following along? If not, it's cool. At Birchie A, God-fearing Mando, a father of 3 beautiful children, stuck in a wheelchair, but I look great in it. Damn proud Marine veteran. By God.
Yeah, thank you very much for your service, Birchie. Yeah, plugged you in there.
Thank you for all you're doing. That is a
he's
bad
been interacting pretty regular, and obviously we loved that.
So let's go into the ditch with DeGilio here. Cohen, you know how
we ain't even found a ditch yet, yo.
All right. Yeah, we're not in the ditch yet. If you could go back and give your 17-year-old self some advice with the guarantee that it would be followed, what would it be? And so here's the thing, y'all. I'm torn between 2 things, because one might be the divining rod and one might be the wallet. I think I would tell myself at 17, hey, the first time you hear the word Bitcoin, buy as many as is feasible. Because y'all, I'm a tech nerd. I do this for a living and technology crap. I could have bought Bitcoin at like 50 cents, 25 cents. It was funny. People in my space were like throwing Bitcoin at each other just to be funny. Hey, I'll pay you in Bitcoin for that. Ha ha ha! I'll give you 20 Bitcoin. 20 Bitcoin today is worth like 50 grand. So I would have said
it's fluctuated like a mofo, but I agree.
It has, and I would have said buy Bitcoin, and once it hits $2,000, sell all the Bitcoin, and then I'd be rich, and then I could probably take care of all the other divining rod things, whatnot at that point.
How's your Bojangles stock doing?
My Bojangles damn stock is killing it, man. We are up still at we're at like a 17% profit over 4 months.
Nice.
If you can do better than that in this stock climate, I will kiss your ass.
17%
Hey,
is
hey.
So my $100 has turned into $117 all day long.
Nice.
Too bad I didn't put like 1.7 million that I don't have into it. So, Sherwin, 17-year-old self.
I think what I would say is getting a little bit over on the serious side of things is, you know what? Don't be – if you're 17 and you're listening to this thing, and you're losing your mind if you are, but don't be so concerned with wanting everyone to like you. I think that's one of the mistakes I made when I was 17 is it doesn't matter if everyone likes you. It only matters that the people that do like you a lot and enjoy your company, and they make your life better. I think one of the things I concerned myself with the most when I was that age is wanting everyone to like me. And that's just that you're not being you if you're trying for everyone to like you.
Right? Brandon, 17-year-old self.
Well, that's a hard one to follow because I agree with Sherwin. You got to like you before anyone else can like you. But I would say stop after the first degree and not add on to the student loan debt.
That's good.
Like, one's enough. You're good. You're good.
I mean, you would never be the professor without that, though, right? I mean, come on.
I know. Well, I know. But it came with a hefty price tag.
Be a PTM professor. All you got to do is come on 3 times.
Yeah, come on here 3 times. You got your PhD. We hand those things out like freaking candy.
Right. That's yeah. I mean, I'd take that one.
Mr. Cone, where you at? 17-year-old Cone.
I would probably tell my 17-year-old self that, hey, buddy, you don't have to watch all the internet porn all at once. Take a break.
Well, there's no way the internet existed back when you were 17, sir.
I'm
that's
kidding.
right,
I'm kidding on
old
that
guy.
one. I do take a break. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fractionary period.
It's refractory period there.
Refractory period. You know what? The
Don't
17-year-old
pretend to be a physicist.
The 17-year-old Cone.
I used to have a problem.
this 17-year-old Cone would probably say.
17-year-old me, I would go back and say, don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people. Knowing as many people as you can is a very good thing because you never know what doors those people may be able to open for you. And I would also say, be patient. Don't rush yourself into bad situations. Life has a funny way of working itself out for the better. And just be patient, let things happen, and get to know as many people as you can.
You know what? Y'all are very good people. My whole thing was just make all the money you can and spend it on booze, women, and terrible things. I want. You know what?
You know what I would do with $1 million?
I was trying to be real.
You know what I would? You know what I would do with $1 million?
What's that?
2 chicks at the same time.
Well,
man.
Hey,
Peter, check out Channel 9.
Office Space. Do you guys not watch Office Space?
Dude, I was about to give you the next line.
You know what I would do?
Yeah, which was,
I was going to say, you're going to make me say the F word again because my favorite line from that movie is, "No, man, I don't want you fucking up my life, too."
Oh, you guys and the F word. I don't say the F word on this show.
Well, I reserve the right. Rusty's going to cuss me out later. It's fine. Well,
you've already got 2, so are you going to go like PG-14 here at this point?
Yeah,
yeah, we're PG-14. We're on FX after 10 p.m. on like Thursday night.
Well, no. So I was going to finish the quote because you said 2 chicks at the same time. I was going to say, well, not all chicks are into that, and you got to say, well, the kind of chicks that double up on a dude like me.
Yes. Thank you for completing it.
That's where I was going to go with this whole thing. Yes, I'm into Office Space.
Double up on a dude like me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have enjoyed the.
I got to get up to Las Colinas. I'm
Deep.
doing the drywall at the McDonald's
ditch that we took this one into. And Brandon, thank you so much for joining. Cone, I wish I could say the same. No.
Hey, it was a surprise calling. Well, you didn't know what's happening.
Love y'all to death.
We appreciate you doing it.
This has been an absolute blast. You know what? I'm having fun, and I hope everybody out there is having fun too. Just hanging out and talking with people. We're going to close this thing down. Brandon, tell us what's going on, where they can find you. What's up next?
All right. Well, a couple of best ofs over the next couple weeks on the Lap Traffic Podcast, which you can follow at Lap Traffic PC, website thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Pick things back up in January with a show that will be completely dedicated just to the new Fantasy League. There are some big things coming up with that, some changes, and big props to Mick Rose, who I saw in the chat here earlier, sent in a question to you guys and has helped me out with the Fantasy League. A couple other maybe random shows happening in the offseason, and then we'll pick things back up and working on some new stuff for next year, which I'm excited to hopefully tie some loose ends together and make some things happen there. So thank you to everyone that follows, listens, downloads. Combe, thanks to you for coming on as much as you do on the show. Appreciate it. As much as I know we love to give you a hard time, your support definitely means a lot. And, of course, huge props to the PETM podcast for having me on, giving me my tenure. It's the first time I've gotten tenure. Man. I love it. So,
yeah. I've been a professor for 10 years and finally got
and thanks to Mick. Mick, I know Mick's played a big role in your fantasy stuff, and he certainly played a big role in creating content for us because he submits a question every week. Thank you very much, Mick Rose.
Mick, you're the man. Let's close this thing out. Y'all know where to find us. PTMpodcast.com, at PTM Podcast on the Twitter, Instagram, everything else. You know what the deal is. Follow us individually. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace, at Tailgate Mayor.
And I'm Andrew Sherwin, at Pregame Engineer on the Twitter, Andrew L. Sherwin on the Instagram. Please give us a rating and subscribe on the iTunes if you're using an Apple product.
Yeah.
Because that helps us find our way into people's suggestion list. That's great. And thank you very much to Sydney Led for allowing us to use her music.
All right. We'll talk to y'all next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Orange Cone. We'll see y'all next time.
We are NASCAR.
We are NASCAR.
We love you, Sydney! Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the YouTube is still live. The show is over. Ooh. Brandon.
Yo.
That was awesome.
That was so much fun.
Did you?
So I feel bad because I don't get to. Well, it's not that I don't get to. I don't tune into as many of your Thursday shows as I would like because Thursday night is like my guaranteed night out because Lindsay watches like all these chick shows and she doesn't care what I do, so I always go to the bar. So I haven't actually been a part of a live show with you guys in a while. So it was fun to hang out and be live.
It's all good, man. I mean, same here. This is just it's just hanging out with your buddies. If you're a Bill Engvall fan, you know where that came from.
Yeah, hanging out with your buddies.
I love it. And I know we're not done.
Let's go in the backyard and drink beer.
So.
I promise you, this is going to end better.
That one, that joke, I'll steal it from him. He goes, "If it weren't for the sex, I could be gay." Because then you're just hanging out with your buddies.
That was the more recent. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a good ass joke.
Yeah, that joke's like 10 years old now. I don't even know.
Apologize to everybody in the iTunes space. I can't believe I said the F word twice. I'm not happy about that.
It's all fun. It's all fun. You know what, y'all?
It's all good.
We're going to shut her down on the old YouTube. YouTubers, everybody who has given any sort of comment or anything, like, subscription, everything else. Patrick Drawn even says, never a dull moment on this podcast ever. Hey, you know what, Patrick? We hope we can go have a beer with you at some point and make it not a dull moment either. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much. We'll catch y'all later because I got to pee. As it turns out,
I do too.
So I gotta turn this thing off.
As it turns out.
So I'm gonna stop streaming now. Thank you, PT and Posse. You're the best. Cheers.